now going to try a different pattern with the circle ruler. We are going to do a flower of circles. So we are going to use the 2-inch diameter circle, which is this one here. So what we need to do on this is we need to pick a focal point in the middle, because we are going to keep coming back to that, and that's going to act as like the centre of our flower that we can then build outwards. So that's why I'm going to start with this somewhere where I feel like it would be suitable. So same as always, foot down, needle down, and then we are going to stitch round halfway to the circle. So you can see this scroll line here. This indicates the halfway, so that is where we are going to stop. Okay, so as you see there, I've stopped. So now we need to have the needle down and we can move the ruler round. So what we can do here is to line up the circle. We have got this scroll line here. So what we have just stitched, you need to place underneath this scroll line, and then you can complete your circle. Okay, and that has brought us to our central point again. So what we need to do now is we need to move the ruler round, and we are going to do the exact same thing. Start a circle, but from a different place, different angle of the ruler. So again, we can use these scroll lines here. We know that this is the centre, so our starting point of the ruler needs to be there. So you can have these circles as far apart or as close together as you wish, depending on how you want to do your design. So I've picked my angle there, and I'm just going to sew all the way around till we reach the end of the channel. Start with the needle down, and just like before, we need to put what we have just sewn onto the scroll line. Okay, and then we can complete the circle. Again, you'll get the idea now. We have stopped at our central point that we decided earlier on, and we can then move the ruler again and decide where we would like it. And don't forget to stop where this line is here, because that means that we will have completed half our circle. Same thing again, match the scroll lines up and then complete the circle. And this is going to just be a continuing pattern until we complete it. So I will just continue to do the exact same thing as we've just been doing. So this particular pattern I think would be good for a sort of a centerpiece image in your quilt. You could just do one of them, or you could do several dotted around your quilt depending on the size of it. And you can experiment with the different colours that you want to use with your thread, and you can do all sorts just to you know, make the pattern slightly different each time or look slightly different. Again, needle down all the way around until we meet the line, which we know is the halfway mark. Spin our ruler around, and why we have our needle down is because that means our material is fixed in place for when we are moving the ruler. So that means then that you're not going to lose where you are, and it will be, you can just experiment where you would like to see the next pattern. Okay, remembering to always stop at that centre section so that we know exactly where we're going to be. think I'm going to make this my last circle, and then I can show you what the completed pattern looks like. Now this is just some pattern that I like to do with this ruler. As always with our rulers, you are free to experiment, create and think of brand new designs that you can do. And this ruler in particular has got so much potential because it's got all the 4 different sizes. You can do the clamshells, you can do just circles, you can make bubbles out of your different size circles, lots and lots of things that you can do.
Okay, so I wanted to show you now how you can do the same pattern that I've done before, but different variations of it. The variations are created by using the different sizes of the circles. So you can get the different diameters, and you can also experiment with how many circles you put within each flower. The more circles you put, the more intense pattern that you get. The fewer circles that you put, the more sort of wider pattern that you get. So this is just sped up, and this is just showing me doing a few different examples of that pattern, how by just changing one element can make the design look quite different. So this is the first one here that I'm just about completed. This is a slightly smaller design. There we go. Okay, and then what I'm going to move on now is to the biggest design that we've got, and I haven't put these circles as close together as some of the previous patterns, so that you can just see the difference. So you can really see how you can use this ruler to build up sections of your quilt using the same ruler, but it can do lots of different things. Okay, so here we go, and I've looked there and thought, actually I think that would look better with one more circle. That would complete the pattern. So you can just go back, line yourself back up by using your center point, your focal point that you keep coming back to, and then you can just add it. So again, it's one of those things where you don't have to have a fixed pattern in mind at the beginning. You can just start doing something, and eventually it will work out into a nice pattern. Okay, so now I'm going to use some of the smaller ones and do these ones slightly closer together, just to give you that effect, the sort of spiral effect, when you've got them quite close together. And as you can see from this video, I know that this is sped up, but it doesn't take long to create these patterns at all, because you can, once you stop with your ruler down, your needle down, your ruler is free then to just move in any direction, and you can use your scroll lines to line everything up. So there you can see different varieties of the same pattern which have a big effect.